folks, we've got Sonja Coffee here today with Remax Champion. Sonja, how are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing fabulous. Thank you.
All right. So how are you holding up with today's climate?
Oh, let me,
Well, obviously your phone's
mute.
ringing,
Let
so.
me mute. Yeah, that's a good thing. Let me mute it, which shows, yeah, I'm still doing business. I'm holding up well. Thank you for asking. Thank you. This time that we're going through, you can go either way. You're gonna be great, or you're gonna kind of sit in your house and just, just wait for the opportunity to make more excuses and not do what we're supposed to do, or move forward and be optimistic. So I choose. It's a choice, right? I mean, we all have a choice which way we're gonna go, but I think during this time with COVID-19, it kind of woke me up a little bit to the surroundings around me, what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, what I'm making excuses for, what I can make more excuses for, right? So, but I'm doing well. Business is good. I haven't really had a slowdown with business. And I humble myself because I'm very grateful for that. And I know other people are having issues with moving forward. But I had a handful of clients before we entered into this in March. So I'm very grateful that I was able to carry them through and keep them going. And I'll tell you, a lot of them, a couple buyers, and even on the other side, the agents. Now remember, we're dealing with a lot of different people in one transaction. So you have to keep lifting up everybody in that transaction, right? And I was able to do that. So I think with what we're facing, it just all depends on your attitude. Really, how are you going to deal with this? Because
And you've always been a leader. Since I've always known you, you've always pushed through. You've never really sat back, but you did just say that you fell into a little bit of rut. And I think everybody did,
yeah,
because you're like, what am I going to do now?
right, right.
And how'd you get out of that?
Well, are you talking about when we met at
No, not when we met, just, through this whole process of this whole
Oh, through this
COVID-19 thing.
whole
Yeah.
process? Well, right. So actually, you know what? The first week in March. So first of all, I had my goals. Okay, I've been in the business for 18 years, but I just started full time 3 years ago. So I ran a cheerleading company with my family for 25 years, and so I was doing both. And my husband, when I got married, he said, "You're not doing both. You got to pick. You can't be doing both. Like, what are you going to do?" My heart and everything that I believe in and what I enjoy doing is real estate. So I chose real estate. So I let a great business go to, now, mind you, I had a husband who was supporting me. I wasn't a single mom anymore without, not knowing if I was going to close a deal. But I think moving forward, with being a leader, a lot of that in cheerleading kept me. Being a coach for 25 years, it's like sergeant, right? So that kept me going. But 18 years in the business and then 3 years full time. In January, I said, okay, Sonny, you got to step this up. Like, are you going to dabble? Or are you really going to do something with this, right? Because I've been blessed to, I'm not a top producer, but I close deals, and I haven't really pursued cold calling and getting on the phones for 4 hours a day and doing what a realtor should be doing to get business, right? Prospecting. So in January, I said, okay, Sonia, I bought Vulcum, like what, $350 a month. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I started doing it, and I was going up and down and not really doing it 100%. And then COVID hits in. I'm like, shit, I'm just going to cancel. So now I don't have to do it. And what happened? I let the excuse of me not having to do it, because there's a reason now, COVID-19. Nobody wants to hear from a realtor. How can I call someone and ask them if they want to sell their house? That would be so inhumane, right? Like, we're all going through this devastation right now, and I'm going to ask if you want to sell a house. So I cancel Vulcum, but I will be signing back up May 1st, because I know that people need help. I know that people need to be educated. I know that everybody is going to buy and sell, no matter what's going on in the world. It's like go into the bathroom. You have to go to the bathroom, and you have to buy and sell real estate. I don't know.
And you got to buy toilet paper.
Yeah. Oh, don't you? Yeah, toilet paper. But I think, I don't know if I'm going off on a rant, but I think leading people right now is the best thing that we can do. And if you have the ability to be able to be around people and to lift them up and give them knowledge, and basically it's all about knowledge. I keep up with the stats. Like in our industry right now, okay, surprisingly, there's still a lot of closings. Okay, it's not as much as it was last year this time, but people are still buying and selling. I'm going to be closing tomorrow on a deal. I'm going to be, I have deals going. So that just tells me if you work with the right people and you understand how to pre-qualify the buyers, whether you're working with a buyer or you're working with a seller, doesn't matter which end, you need to know the whole circle, the whole system. So a buyer comes to me, I have a listing, a buyer comes to me. I'm not just saying, yay, get it in escrow. No, I am like with a micro, or what is that?
Oh, yeah, you know what you're talking about.
Uh,
Magnifying glass.
Magnifying glass,
Yeah.
looking at these buyers, because now I have to make sure are these, people, now that the financing has changed a little bit, the credit scores have changed for financing, their debt to ratios. For instance, we are closing tomorrow, thankfully, with the first time buyers who got CalHFA funding. And my lender locked it in on the last day of that program being available for my clients to get $20,000 from a grant. Now, if I wasn't aware of this and I wasn't paying attention, if we didn't lock it in then, and I said, I was working with my lender to make sure everything worked, right? It
Right.
happened because I'm aware of that. If I wasn't aware and I wasn't seeking and I wasn't searching to make sure everything is going to fall into place, then it's like you're in escrow and fell out. This happened. This happened. You try to go above and beyond before the problems happen. And now more than ever is what we need to do, right? So
So
just
would you
being
say like it's really really crucial right now is to really tighten up your network, when it comes to your escrow, to your titles, to your lenders, to know exactly the programs and those in and outs so that you can better guide your clients?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Running title when you get the listing, running title. And I have to give props to our escrow company, Legacy First Escrow, and Jackie and Nora. I mean, she's just wonderful. And, she's when you have a team that you can trust and that it has your back, that's a big difference too, right? Because they work with us and they know our personalities. I hope they like me.
I'm sure she does. Big shout out to Jackie Weaver. What's up, girl?
I know, because but I have a strong personality. I do. But you know what? I get stuff done, and I expect people to do their job so I can do mine, but I don't rely on them to know what they're supposed to do. I rely on myself to know what they're supposed to do so that I want to say control. I'm not supposed to control everything, but you know what
No,
I
I
mean.
would say like you have more of an understanding of what the transaction is.
Correct. And
It's
that's
like,
what we need. Yes,
yeah,
because agents don't. And you know what? I'm not bashing any agent. Well, I kind of am, but not, but I don't want to. But there are so many agents out there that don't know what they're doing. And even recently, for instance, let me give you a quick analogy. So I got into it, we closed last week on a house. So COVID-19, I've been working with these buyers since December, January, 540. They've been putting in offers, outbid, counters and all this. And, 540 in Rancho is, it's like, that it's doable, but
right.
they're getting exhausted. And then COVID-19 hits, and the house that they liked went down to 480.
Wow.
And so every house that a client likes that we don't get, I have on a watch. So it
Yeah.
pops up if anything changes. So literally within an hour, we're writing an offer and he accepts it. And props again to our company, which is, thank you, Jennifer and Rod Feldman, because I got Rod involved. He got 2 demands out to the agent and we got the property because the agent accepted my offer at 480. And then 2.5 hours later, he comes back and says, hey, and I had already scheduled the home inspection in an hour.
Yeah.
And so he says, don't do the home inspection because I'm going to send you a counter. I said, hell, no, you're not. I
Never
haven't
past
accepted
that
all.
point, right?
Right. But he was trying to play me.
Mm-hmm.
And because he didn't know his contracts, another thing, agents, please know your contracts. If he knew his contracts better, he would have sent it out on a multiple counter, but he didn't. He sent it out on a single.
Ooh.
So unfortunately for the seller, what happened was he got higher bids on the property.
Right.
And he just jumped on mine because COVID-19. Oh no, everyone's going away. Nobody's going to buy any houses.
Right.
So he accepted it, and so a long story short, we closed escrow last week, and my clients are, and actually they got a great deal.
Yeah, they did.
But
COVID-19 special.
Exactly. But that just goes to show you, working with experienced agents and knowing, and I'm humbling myself because there's a lot of great agents out there, but a lot of agents don't really know how to handle situations when it comes to a crisis or when tension hits. They just fold, or they get nervous, or they don't tell the truth. So
yeah.
It's being able to know what you know and using it wisely.
Yeah, knowing the ins and outs, because it's really helpful. I know when I started out as an LO. So my comprehension of the whole transaction is a whole lot different. And I look at things, when I deal with lenders, they usually are like, you're really cool to deal with because, I'm not on them.
Right.
It's only when it's like, okay, when's that appraisal going to go? You're going to give me some updates. If I got to call you, then it's like, but usually I don't. As long as I go, just communicate with me. That's all I ask.
Right. Exactly. So communication is huge too. In my opening escrow, and every time I open escrow, I always send a nice little letter to the other side saying, remember, this transaction can go so smoothly and wonderfully if we all communicate very well. But it's just part of the industry. You take the good with the bad and you just roll with it. And at the end of the day, it's about the client. So I fight for my clients is when needed. I think I do a lot of networking. I'm a member of a Upland Chamber, Rancho Chamber, Claremont Chamber, and I'm known as the Bulldog, which I don't know if I like that or not, but because I just, I have I'm from Boston. I have that,
go
personality.
Get it attitude,
yeah, like, don't mess with me because I'm going to come back at you if it's something that needs to be come back at.
Yeah, exactly. No, I get it. Just out of curiosity, how long have you known each other? Did you work at All Nations Realty by chance?
Well, no, I was going to say that. Yes. So it's funny because I remember walking in. So first of all, okay, I love Champions. So I've been a RE/MAX agent with Jody Lee. Do you remember Jody Lee Legends? In 2002. So I was with Paul Johnson, and I was under his wing.
Yes. Okay.
Do you remember Paul? Yes. Okay. So I got Paul. I don't know if I didn't get him the job, but I went to All Nations and said, Paul. And that back in the day, Paul was, I don't know where he was, but I'm like, you need to go to Dick Dollar. You need to, come over to All Nations. And then he ended up being the office manager or something.
Yeah.
But we met. I remember walking in, and I remember seeing you. And saying, "Who's all that hot stuff?"
Yeah, let's remember that. I remember that.
But I've been with RE/MAX Champions now. I left for All Nations, and I left for Century 21, and then my best friend at the time, she had a little boutique selling solutions. But for the majority of my career, I have been with RE/MAX Champion, and I'll never leave now. I mean, one time, I thought All Nations was, at Victoria Gardens. It was at the mall. Dude, it did more harm than good because nobody could find us. And then I was out there shopping all the time, and I know it, and that was the truth. It was like, damn, okay, and eating and drinking, and so, but we met. I think that was,
that was 11 years ago, somewhere
Yeah.
on there,
Yeah.
if not more. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, okay, so now that you've gone through a couple of these brokerages, I mean, now you see a difference. I mean, now how important is that for like other agents to realize it's like, you like you said earlier, it's about your leader, and
Right.
over here at
Right.
Champions, you've got a really great leader within, Jennifer Polisi, and
Absolutely.
she's still doing the Zoom meetings. She still has
She's
those
stepping it
trainings right
up.
now.
She's
Yeah.
definitely stepping it up. Well, she's always been there, but I think, I am very pleased with Remax Champions, and I'm not, you know, I'm being very truthful because obviously I keep coming back, right? But um, Jennifer she has the ability to um, speak to you in a manner that you can connect with, I think, and she has the knowledge. She's been in the business, and I appreciate her going above and beyond. And I'll tell you, because I know a lot of agents, there's not a lot of brokers out there that are, although I don't know this 100%, so I can't say, but I don't see the leadership that we're getting with Jennifer during this time. And when you can do that during a crisis, and as much as she is and what she's offering, and she just offered a training with this guy Chad. I was on
Oh,
the Zoom.
Chazzy Bazzy, yeah.
Just so y'all know, this isn't free. Okay, someone's paying for this, and that is what gets me, is that she's willing to put her dollars out for her team, for her business. It's not just about her, and that's what I love. I mean, and if ever I've had a problem, she's been there. She's taken care of it, and I appreciate that. I work from home. I don't go into the office. I've always been, kind of on my own, which I appreciate. But when I do need someone, I know I can go to her, and she's always been there, which speaks volume.
That's awesome. That's
I,
awesome. Now, is there any kind of like right now, are you reading any books right now to keep your mind
oh, I'm so glad
fresh?
you asked.
Oh, is that Darren
Okay,
Hardy,
so
The Compound Effect? Or is
yes,
it, yeah.
so speaking of Jennifer and her leadership, so she would just had a Zoom on mindset. I think one of the meetings was mindset, but she had mentioned this book. So I always try to get audio, and I get the hard book cover too, so I can. It's somewhat. I don't know. I like to hear it, but if I see the words as they read it, and I'm looking at the words, which
Right.
I get to comprehend it more. But this book is amazing, and you know what I learned from this book is not that I learned, it just reminded me we need more consistency in our business. My downfall right now, which reminded me from this book, is I'm not consistent. I think I'd be a millionaire. Oh, and then one of them is the miracle.
Miracle Morning. Oh, okay.
Yep. But I think,
Nice.
okay, so going into that during this time, it's funny because everyone says you have so much free time. I keep hearing that, and I don't have free time. That's been my problem. I'm like, I want to be in quarantine, and I haven't been on my own quarantine yet. But I think being able to take whatever time during whatever season you're in, if you don't educate yourself and fill your tank with knowledge and self-worth and things that are going to lift you up, don't watch the news. Don't listen to all of these naysayers. I mean, we hear this all the time, but it's true. You get on social media, and that's another thing. Social media, my husband, he tries to he gets into these little, because he is right all the time. I will give him props because he brings common sense to a lot of things. But I'm always yelling at him, get off social media, don't post that. He's like, they need to know the truth, but it's not your place. But yet it kind of is our place if we do know the truth and we can back it up with facts. And so when you read and you fill your tank with the things like contracts, reading things on real estate, getting training, getting coached, all these things will make you have that thick skin that we need in this industry. Because let me tell you, if you have weak skin in this industry, you're going to die soon. Because I mean, every day we're dealing with issues and problems, and how do you internalize that? Now, I can say that, sometimes I'm crying because I take it personally, but you know what my husband says is it in your control? Can you make it different? Can you change it? If the answers are no to it, then you didn't do anything wrong. Move on. Let it go. Let it go. You have to let things go that are not in your control. And when you build yourself up and you read things that make sense and that confirm stuff like that, it makes your job so much easier, So hope that
I
made
like
sense.
that. No, I like that. It's like,
Yeah.
it's if it's not in your control, I mean, what else can you do?
Right.
You let it go and just keep
Right.
betting yourself.
Right.
So
And my personality is, I want everything to be perfect all the time. It's impossible. It's
yes, it
impossible.
is.
But I'm like, no, I can do it. I don't want to let them down because, I'm fixing other agents' problems so that my client doesn't know anything. Like, I never tell my clients problems unless I have to. Right. But at the end, I always give them I always kind of fill them in like, gosh, if you only knew what the heck I was going through during that, you didn't even know. But you have to let things go, but you have to make sure that you're not being weak and you just avoid things too, because there's a difference, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think that's great advice, guys, out there. I mean, take that into consideration, educate yourself,
Yeah.
be a bulldog, learn your contracts. You know what, Sonia, I really appreciate your time. This was
Thanks.
awesome. I hope you enjoyed
Awesome.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I did. I did.
See, it
Thank you.
wasn't too bad.
No, I know. I know you see me on social media, but when I get those videos, it takes a lot for me to do videos, and this is not my thing. And you're so great at it, but yeah, you haven't seen it 50 takes.
But I love it. Thank you again, girl.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
thank
All
you.
right.
All right, God bless you.
Bye-bye
Take care.
now.
Bye-bye.